Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another severe weather forecast here. It's been a while. We've been really talking about the tropics quite a lot. I'm not done with the tropics, but I'm going to be done with the tropics for the rest of today. So I'll be back doing another update on Christina tomorrow, as well as Invest 98L. But we actually do have a pretty decent severe weather risk today for portions of the western, or really that area of the northern plains, including Montana and North Dakota. We do have an enhanced risk, mainly for that hail and also wind probability here. But we are going to be looking at the timing, who could see the worst, whether we're going to have some tornadoes, or how favorable it is to have this severe weather, whether it's going to cap out or whether it's gonna whether a cap's gonna break. That's what we're gonna be focusing on in today's video. But before we get in the video, please check out the link in the description below. That is the Awesome Weather Expo Discord server, so be sure to check that out. We have an amazing community over there. Check that awesome Discord out there. All you gotta do is read the rules, pick your weather role, and you're good to go. So be sure to check that out. Also, smash the post notification icon so you get notified as soon as I do a video. And also, smash the subscribe button so you can show your awesome support. And also, last but not least, smash that like button so I know you love videos like these and I'll continue to do them. Without further ado, let's get into severe weather forecast. So here we are taking a look at the National Weather Service right here. And as you do, we do have a couple severe thunderstorm watches and warnings for portions of the western and northern plains, including portions of the North Dakota and even Wyoming as well. That is where we're continuing to watch that severe weather for the next coming hours as we get in the evening hours over there, as they are mountain time. So it is 4:07 over there as of now. It is 3:07 over there as of now. So it is 3:07. So of course they still have yet to get to the most favorable time for severe weather. We do have a bunch of severe thunderstorm watches, including Billings, Montana, including areas as far northern counties of just outside Yellowstone. We also do have a couple red flag warnings because we do have a very strong low level jet, which is exactly why this severe weather event is very likely. And that's exactly why it is going to be playing out at an enhanced risk, and that's why that we have a significant risk for winds. As you see, we do have a couple severe thunderstorm warnings for portions of the north central and dead center middle of Montana. That is where we're going to be seeing the strongest for the potential squall lines. We're most likely to see some squall lines, or one squall line, maybe even a QLCS here today. It's exactly why we're not really seeing a huge tornado threat. Really, I'm not really worried about tornadoes. We can have one or two, maybe even three tornadoes spotted, mostly for most likely Wyoming, maybe even North Dakota as well. But those storms have yet to get to North Dakota. Let's go and check out the day one outlook here for severe weather. So here's the day one outlook. As you do, we have a very large enhanced risk, including 3 states: South Dakota, Montana, and North Dakota. The biggest area is actually for much of eastern Montana and portions of central and western North Dakota there, as far as the Canada border. So we do have a pretty nice severe weather risk here playing out for today, and even have a very widespread slight risk, including areas into South Dakota, Minnesota, Montana, Wyoming, and North Dakota as well. I believe Billings is actually under that border with slight and marginal, I believe so. And then we also have the areas, but these are really rural areas that are under this light or under this enhanced risk. Only big cities near this enhanced risk is Bismarck. I think Bismarck's actually on the border right now, but really other than that, I really don't know really any cities in these areas. So very really rural areas, which is good. We don't have to worry about destroying big cities. But as you see, 5% chance of tornado risk, which is still a pretty good probability here. So definitely need to be on the lookout for a tornado or two. That's going to be including South Dakota, North Dakota, and Montana. So South Dakota, you also have to worry about that tornado probability there. So that is something we need to worry about. Hail threat, 15% chance hatch risk or significant risk. So we do have a hatch risk for Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, and much of those little rural areas. Also, this hatch risk, I believe, is just outside of Billings, Montana there. But as you see, we can definitely see significant hail, but possibly maybe see 3-inch size hail, maybe even a softball size hail is likely today. But we have a very widespread 15 a general risk, including Wyoming, Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota. Actually, almost the whole state of North Dakota is actually under that 15% chance for hail, and the wind threat's definitely the biggest possibility there, with a 30% chance hatch risk or 30% chance significant risk. Is exactly why we do have that enhanced risk, and that is where we have this whole enhanced risk. This whole thing is making it up there. So yeah, like I said, winds definitely going to be the biggest probability for today, as we have a very strong low-level jet. Could be seeing 90 miles an hour or greater, which is exactly why we have the reason why we are going to be seeing those severe thunderstorm warnings is really going to be because of those winds, without a doubt. We can see one, or maybe I'm going to probably say 1 to 4 tornado warnings are likely for today. But now let's go and check out now the radar and all of that. So here's a look at the NAM KM model here on the tropical tidbits area. As you see, we are seeing that low pressure system right here at 992 millibars. This is going to bring in a lot of energy here. The thing is, will these storms cap out? That's the question. Exactly why I haven't really been talking about this much, because it's likely it could cap out. Very high cape, very high cape cap values, very high cap. Also seeing some moderate numbers of cape, but you know, it's not looking too bad for today, really. But you see, we can very well see a really strong wall cloud formation there when we have the heaviest precipitation on the front of the storm, because it's a windstorm, and that's where we can possibly see a potential squall line, if not QLCS, moving into South Dakota, North Dakota as well. It's going to be heading towards areas near Bismarck. Good thing is, it's not going to be heading towards the Rapid City area, where we did see, I believe, a confirmed tornado, and it's going to be heading straight towards Bismarck. And look at this. This is going to have a huge wall cloud formation, a very large and long squall line here. And that could bring that very big threat for severe weather tomorrow as well, including Detroit Lakes, Aberdeen, including much of I-40, and then that high pressure system kind of takes over, and that's when it starts to fall apart, and that's when CAP comes into play, and it really falls apart. Here's a look at the College of DuPage, really trusty and handy-dandy radar area. This is a really nice generation of weather here, let me tell you that. As you see, we're going to see those semi-discrete cells starting to develop as far as North Dakota, Nebraska. Why did I say North Dakota? This is Nebraska, Wyoming area. That's where we're going to be seeing that severe weather. Even some semi-discrete cells, and could be quite some strong storms near the Madison area. This is the big area right here. Really big areas for some really strong semi-discrete systems here. Could bring in some very large hail. Those are the storms that could very well possibly bring in those tornado warnings. 58 dBz or decibels. Even look at that, 62 decibels on that storm in the Canadian border. Those are the storms that can really bring in those tornado warnings, because they can have hook echoes. But really some nice decibels, 63, 66, even possibly 67. So really nice decibel numbers. But then they come together later tonight in mountain time, and that's when it does form in a potential squall line. Still gonna have some very good numbers. Look at that, 70 decibels. Very nice numbers, let me tell you that. Over 70 is really good. 71. And then, of course, that continues to move on into portions of North Dakota. And then, of course, it has straight for that Minnesota area. Very nice decibels, those 65, possibly 20 knots here. So that is some nice. It's exactly why we are going to be seeing those tornado severe warnings there, because of knots. 41 knots there for those areas. Exactly why we are going to be seeing those really strong winds, likely 41 knots, 30 knots. Possibly in this general area, 38 knots. So really some strong winds. Wow, even here, possibly 8 knots, possibly even 19 knots. Exactly why we are seeing that 30% chance hatch risk for winds. 39 knots, 29 knots, 15 knots, 16. Yeah, some really good numbers. Ooh, 45 knots. 47 knots. That is likely 47 knots. That is tropical storm force winds, let me tell you that. And then those head into the areas of Minnesota, and then the cap out kind of fall apart there. Still going to be seeing 55 dBz, 20 knots there, but that's when it kind of really falls apart there. Now we're taking a look at the surface-based CAPE, or the amount of energy in the atmosphere. Obviously, the higher the number, of Cape, the better and the more favorable for severe weather. This includes ingredients like humidity, overday heating. Obviously, you're going to have that all that moisture, the helicity, storm relative helicity, that's going to be coming in a factor there. All of that really. Dew points, the higher the dew, really mid 60s in dew points is really favorable. You want all of that humidity there. As you see by what we are seeing now, we are seeing some decent numbers. Anything higher, anything like an 1,500 joules per kilogram mark is considered favorable for severe weather, but anything higher than a 3,000 is considered high. As you see, 2,000, 2,300, some decent numbers. Like I said, it's going to be a moderate Cape numbers we're going to be seeing. Higher numbers are for South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa. Even though they are having 4,000, almost 5,000 joules per kilogram there, doesn't mean they are going to be seeing the severe weather. You know why? Because Cap is the amount of energy. Doesn't mean it's going to be holding severe weather, because that is where it's going to cap out. This is very unfavorable for development. You know why? We're going to be seeing over negative 200 over that. We're going to be seeing over that of CIN. But look at this right here. We're going to be seeing some nice, comfortable numbers. 3,200, 2,700, and even by later tonight, that's going to continue to see some nice Cape, and that's going to carry on those storms in the Midwest, and that's why tomorrow we are going to be seeing some nice amounts of energy, though, and this is where it can be favorable for tomorrow. That's where we're not overdoing those numbers, because we're seeing some severe weather tomorrow for the Midwest, and then obviously going to get some really good numbers because of really hot, humid in those areas. That's going to skyrocket those numbers of Cape. Let's go and check out now the CIN or Cap. Obviously, the higher the Cap, the worse. The worse is when it's higher, really. Look at these numbers. We're seeing negative 200 exactly for Montana. And where we see the severe weather potential, negative 400, negative 230. So this could very well cap out. We can have scattered areas that are favorable. And that's why we're going to be seeing those really scattered semi-discrete cells, because those storms will develop where it's favorable. Look at this. This is unbearable. Impossible for these storms to develop there. As you see, negative. This is where it's more favorable, though. If these storms do move in the exact same area right here at this point, this is where the storms can really blow up. Negative 116, 134, negative 51, negative 83. Those are doable numbers. Those numbers are good. And then by later, just completely caps out. So really, like I said, this is exactly why I haven't really worried about this. Really, I mean, it's gonna cap out. It's gonna really cap out. So really, you can have some storms that blow up for a couple hours, and then after that, really, by sundown, it's gone. These storms just cannot develop, or they do develop, they will not thrive, and they will fall apart, because that wind shear will just take over. Because what that Cap is that CIN, or what CIN is, it's a warm area loft. What the warm area loft is when it's very warm in the atmosphere. So let's say this is the atmosphere, right? Let's say this is the atmosphere. There's a little clouds. That's actually the worst cloud I've ever seen in my life. This is a little cloud here. So it's a nice little blob cloud. And this is us and the surface. This is surface right here. Let's say this is 30,000 feet in the air. Let's say that. So it's very warm in the higher atmosphere, and it's cold, a cold surface. That's what a warm area lofts. So that warm air is going to kind of just vibe right here, and those storms cannot develop there. You're not going to see any spin in the atmosphere, which is what helicity is. But, oops, I don't know how to take that away. But if we switch that up, it's now the lower the CIN, the better. You know, that means that's when you really want to have a warm surface, nice warm temperatures in a cooler, warm atmosphere. So that means they spin around like that. And then it's really favorable to have some really strong thunderstorms like that. If not, maybe a couple tornadoes like that. So that is the explanation. Hope you guys enjoyed that little movie there. Now we're looking at helicity. Helicity, the higher the better. That means the higher spin in the atmosphere, of course. You know what spin does. Wow, 270 meters per second squared. That is some nice numbers. 744 meters per second squared. Some nice numbers. That's in Montana, where the severe weather is going to be. Look at this later tonight. Really good numbers for portions of Montana where the severe weather is. 566 meters per second squared. Possibly even 589 meters per second squared. Possibly beyond 600 meters per second squared. Even better, by tomorrow morning, going to be seeing 655 meters per second squared, 670 meters per second squared, and 795 meters per second squared. Very nice amounts of spin in the atmosphere. That's basically the severe weather that's going to develop. The severe weather is going to develop here with all the helicity, and that helicity is going to go like this. You can just track that severe weather of where it's going. Last but not least, we're going to check out now the SCP, or the superset composite parameter. As you see, anything higher than a 25, really, anything higher than 25 is considered high probability for supercells. We're going to be already starting off the day with a 20 Montana. Look at this, a 45, a 47 on the SCP, but it could be the cap's going to be way too low. Almost at a -4. When it's too low, really in between like a -30 to a -150. Anything in that range is perfect for severe weather. But this is where you can definitely have a threat. 44, 47. Those are some very high numbers on the SCP. And then those numbers kind of die down by tomorrow as it kind of caps out. So guys, I hope you guys did enjoy that severe weather forecast here. Of course, we're still monitoring Christina and Invest on the out in the tropics. Have not forgot about that, but honestly, you guys have been saying, hey, when's your next severe weather upload? And I thought, well, this is the chance. This is the better chance, because this is obviously our first enhanced risk in quite a while when it comes to like severe weather wise. That's a while. It hasn't been that long, but you know what I mean. But of course, check out the Discord link in the description below, and also subscribe, like, and hit the post notification icon. Bye, guys.